thanks for tuning into F1 Podcast, episode 72. And Max and I are here to talk about Silverstone today. It was a great race, a wet race, Max.
It was a wet race, mate.
Yeah, I always get really excited when the coverage starts and you see the wet on the screen and you think, yeah, wet race. You know it's going to be a good race. You just know it's going to be awesome.
We all like it wet and moist, mate. And that's one thing that Silverstone was. Beautiful British weather. Certainly put on a show for everyone.
Yeah, and Hakey got his first pole, so it was an interesting front row, including Webber on the front row. Very exciting.
Yeah. Humble pie time. Yeah. In one of my comments, I said, "Look, I think it's a given that we won't see a Red Bull on the qualifying on the front row." Boy, was I wrong. So I thought Webber did well.
I was sitting there on the couch with my VB. It was a wet race. Webber was on the front row. Hakey had his first pole. And going into turn one, I was so excited. And then before they even got to Hangar Straight, Webber's out of the race, and I couldn't believe it, Max. I was
facing in the wrong direction.
I was so pissed off, mate. All the build-up and he's gone. Yeah, and actually that in-cuff shot was pretty scary with those cars flying down the straight at him. But just a really disappointing start to the race for Webber at least. But Lewis had a great start. And, he kind of drove away from there. He had a great race, and, I've got to take my hat off to the guy and say that, a lot of cars were sparing off. Massa was sparing off every other lap. Plenty of good races out there, drivers out there coming off, but Lewis was strong.
He was superb. His start was fantastic. He just blew past Webber and co, and off he went and drove put in a good chase initially before he got first position, and then just was never headed pretty much. He was flying.
The race was really changeable as well, which to me, I've always thought brings out it really brings the cream to the top, and those drivers who can handle those changeable conditions, a la Schumacher, who did it so well.
The Rainmeister.
Yeah, and those times where the track's a little bit in between, he did a great job. Heidfeld, again, another podium for Heidfeld. I was really impressed with Nick, so well done, Nick, to get P2. But it was an exciting race.
A minute behind, but P2 nonetheless.
Yeah.
I thought he did well. It was good to see him back up there.
Yeah, and Rubens, how excited was he on the podium in the conference? It's been a long time since he's been on the podium.
Rubens should be kissing Ross Brawn's slippers at the moment for changing
strategy
into extreme wets.
Yeah.
And boy, did that work. And you saw what happened with Kimi and Ferrari, mate. Talk us through that.
Oh, well, Kimi, I just can't believe the race that Ferrari just had so much promise going into Silverstone, and they just, their strategy was just all over the place in terms of, putting the tyres on and things like that.
You were keeping Kimi out on the wet tyres, without changing them, and you saw that McLaren changed Lewis's wets, and we all saw the result. Lewis just streaked away from Kimi, and Kimi could only settle in fourth.
Streaked away, yeah, and also with Rubens, Martin Brundle on the ITV coverage at least was saying a lot of comments about the fact that Rubens was going so quick on the wet tyres, and I couldn't help but agree with the guy. I was thinking, as he said, 10 seconds a lap, you only need 2 or 3 laps, and you've absolutely slayed them. So I thought the strategies was a little bit conservative, Max, from a lot of teams, and as you said, Ross Brawn just delivered another brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
And got Rubens on the podium, so he was
great to see Rubens on the podium. Great to see those green and white overalls up there, and Rubens was so excited and so happy. Mate, we've had a couple of veterans on the podium of late that, quite frankly, shouldn't have been there, perhaps, and that was Coulthard and Barrichello in the last couple of races.
Yeah.
So good to see a couple of the old fellas up there. Next we'll see Vizzy up there, mate.
Yeah, and also Renault has been picking up some good points. Same with Toyota, continuing to do well, Max.
And Naka got a point for Williams.
Yeah. And Massa was nowhere, spinning out all over the place, and I can't believe I tipped him to win the race, and the guy was just last. And
I think he went off. I think he went off around 5 times.
5 or 6.
But when you saw the in-car, and you imagine him feathering the brakes, the whole arse end of that Ferrari would just slide out, and he was a passenger. I mean, it's lucky he didn't hit too much. But yeah, it must have been. It obviously was a very difficult day for Felipe, but I'm sure he'll be back for sure.
Yeah, well, as they say, Max, it was the same for everyone, and Felipe didn't deliver.
And what about DC? His last British Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Didn't get to finish it. Didn't get halfway.
Didn't really make it too far.
Just a sad way to go out.
Yeah, after making his announcement. So, hopefully continue to get some results for Red Bull.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But I was just really sorry for David. I felt really bad for him when I saw him go off, and that was the end of his race. But he was very philosophical about it at the end, and I guess that's just a sign of a true champ, and that's what David Coulthard is.
All right, Maxwell, we're set up now for a three-way tie in the World Championship, and Robert right there as well, just a couple of points behind. So at the halfway point of the season, we just did those videos on the mid-season review. You can't hope for a more exciting season so far, Max.
No, exactly as you said, a three-way tie for first, and then 2 points separates first from fourth, really.
Yeah.
With Robert, as you mentioned.
And all the races as well, just, you notice in qualifying the gaps have been so small. The whole grid has been just over, a second or a little bit more. And thinking back to a few years ago, there was a few seconds at least between first and last. So it's really competitive.
Yeah, you're right. Mate, there's nothing in it anymore. A tenth or 2 tenths could put you back for, 4, 5, 6 places.
Yeah.
So it's extremely competitive. There's no doubt about it. But I think it's great for the championship that we've got a three-way tie for first halfway through the season, pretty much. And I think it's wonderful.
Well, guys, let us know what you thought about the Silverstone race and also about the half-season point. We're going to do a video straight after this with some news, some things that have been happening recently in F1. And also thanks to Sean, who sent us his videos from Silverstone. He was on the gate, and he's got 3 videos. We'll put the link in the video description. And thanks, mate. They were great videos. It's awesome to see the behind-the-scenes view of the circuit, and it was good stuff.
It was fantastic. It was great. It was a good laugh. Thanks again, Sean.
All right, guys. We'll see you for the next video soon, and thanks for watching.
All right, see you guys.
Okay, bye.